Got to listen very, very closely to these individuals who are outside the library, okay? At the North University San Diego Public Library on 6/17/2013 at 5:23 p.m. I'm leaving the library and going outside to unlock my bike. You got to listen to it closely, though, because the individuals made sure they stood far enough away from me to where it's a little bit hard for you to hear them say it. But if you listen meticulously, you will hear them say gang stalker, gang stalk, and oh my God. And I got a video picture of them saying it. It just hasn't been uploaded yet, just like this one hasn't, because this just happened yesterday, and right now is the next morning. So, okay, so I want you to listen to what I state out here once I leave the library, and then listen to what you hear going on around me within a minute or two. This video is about, this audio file is about 7 minutes long. This is occurring at the North University San Diego Public Library. Do you hear gang stalker, gang stalk, oh my God, being said in the background? Listen closely. Stopping on my way out of here, North University San Diego Public Library, June 17, 2013. They're saying it right now. Boom. You just got them seeing it. Look at them hide. There we go. They just said gang stuck and I'm gonna get twice. Right here. Boom. Just caught him. Look, be confident. There's three right here. The one that's with the bowl. The guy, there's a hand behind the back. And they're done pointing and handing to the face, and they turned around. Whoa!
Just to the Salvation Army. I know, and then you just call them up. Garage sale is such a hassle, though, you know.
My glasses? Honey, your new one, I found it. It was in the trunk. I put it in the front seat.
Table, Daddy.
See, they're constantly saying it right now. I'm standing out here smoking my cigarette at North University San Diego Public Library. She's gonna say gang stalking, oh my god. There we go. Okay, now some of those statements you heard me make, it was because I whipped out my video camera and caught him literally saying it on video. Okay, and it just hasn't been uploaded yet because this happened early evening yesterday. And so I haven't been to any place to upload the video yet. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to this right here. This is a book that states literally right here, any predicted behavior patterns caught on tape should be immediately reported to local police and or saved for record, or better yet, posted on the internet. This is a book that was written by Mike Fitzhugh-Bell. He's a target and victim of organized stalking, which is also called gang stalking. And organized stalking is mentioned constantly throughout the book. Okay? Now, this is an email file from 2006. Okay, now understand this. Organized stalking and gang stalking has happened in every single state in the United States. And they operate on the same methods and templates of behaviors of harassment concerning what they expedite concerning the harassment around a target concerning a target. Okay, so this is a 2006 email that I sent from the Point Loma Library, San Diego, when I was out here in San Diego between 1 and 38 days. Okay, and they were sent from the Point Loma Library, and this particular email states how they were showing up and engaging in verbal how they were engaging in verbal cues and showing up at my school concerning Michigan. because this particular email was sent to Amnesty International. Okay, because see, I was being subject to organized stalking, gang stalking, in Michigan on a feverish scale. That's why I left Michigan to come to California in 2006, when I was out here between 1 and 38 days. So I thought what happened was the individuals who had entered my life through respectable environments, and they had respectable community positions and great jobs. One was an elder of a church. Okay, I thought that they just had their friends gang stalk me from Michigan to San Diego in 2006, even though I didn't know it was called gang stalking back then. I didn't have a name for the type of crime that was happening to me. So what I was doing was, at the Point Loma Library, I was sending emails to Amnesty International, okay, concerning some of the things that had happened to me, because I thought that they had just had friends of theirs stalk me from Michigan to California in 2006. So I was basically talking about to Amnesty International right there, and this guy's email address is still on Amnesty International's website concerning San Diego, okay? Verbal cues and showing up at my school. That's concerning what I was experiencing in Michigan, okay? Now, this right here is an email that was sent 1 hour and 12 minutes later from the same library, which was Point Loma Library in San Diego, to a prosecutor in Wayne, Michigan. It literally flat out states it right here. Check around the Point Loma Library, San Diego. You never know what you might hear around the media room or after I go into the bathroom. You never know what you might hear. Point Loma Library. And this one that was sent 1 hour and 12 minutes before from the same library, verbal cues. Okay? Check around the Point Loma Library. You never know what you might hear. Verbal cues. This email was sent 1 hour and 12 minutes before this one from the same library. Verbal cues. Showing up at my school. Check around the Point Loma Library. You never know what you might hear. Okay? Now this particular email right here shows me talking about how they literally got an individual, and this was describing, even though I didn't know the name of it yet, this was describing how an individual, what they'll do is anchor fear in a target's mind by, like, I'm hiking right now in San Diego. I'm saving for a mobile home. I'm not involved in any illegal activity whatsoever, any criminal activity whatsoever. I'm not involved in anything illegal whatsoever. I mind my own business everywhere I go. On occasion, I might, you know, engage in small talk with somebody on a bus if they don't look threatening, or somebody at a bus stop, or maybe even at school. Small talk, but that's it. I don't tell anybody my name. I don't tell anybody personally that I'm being gang stalked. I don't tell anybody anything concerning me, because I didn't want to make sure that these organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions, in reference to the ones who had the power positions in, like, at the prosecutor's office, the DA's office, or any police officers that are syndicated to this crap, I didn't want to give them any plausible deniability so they could discredit the evidence by saying, well, you know this person, and this person's saying you're crazy, because they will engage in what is known as intimate infiltration, where they'll try and put somebody in your life. If you're a man, they'll put a woman in your life. If you're a woman, they'll try and put a man in your life. They'll try and infiltrate your circle of friends. They'll even attempt to try and suck you into friendships. This is how they got me in Michigan, okay? So I made sure that when I came back out here in San Diego on August 8, 2011, for the first time since 2006, I made a decision in my mind, and I have stayed totally 100% dedicated to it, that I would not even attempt to develop any friendships, relationships of any kind at the acquaintance level, friendship level, or intimate level. So no one knows me by name, except for certain San Diego police officers when I attempted to report to them that I'm a victim of this crime, okay? And certain university campus police officers that I had to call as a result of them slashing my tires at UCSD. Yes, and when an incident occurred at SDSU, because basically through the tracking of a target, the target is subjected to this type of harassment every single place they go. Okay, now this video is going to be put in a blog, and there's already numerous videos that flat out wide open show you that this tactic is happening to me everywhere I go. I'm talking about flat out wide open. Nothing like the audio file that was just transferred to you, which was hard to hear them say it. I'm talking about audio files that flat out show you it being said. Okay? Now, at different places, the same tactic. That blog's URL address is going to be put in the description of this YouTube video. Plus, there was a video I took yesterday at the Northern University San Diego Public Library as these people were saying it, and the video flat out shows them saying it. Okay? It's just this tape recorder, for some reason yesterday, wasn't picking up background noise very well. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is this. No one should know that I'm being gang stalked in San Diego outside of the San Diego police and certain university police officers. So how is all of this being constantly and repeatedly, non-stoply being said around me everywhere I go? Now, getting back to a third separate email file from 2006, it literally, because one thing they'll do is so, see, I'm hiking in California, and this is one of my hiking areas. And what they're doing is getting up on that sidewalk and saying gang stalking to get my attention, and then they'll say, why don't you come and steal our stuff? Okay? And this is done to anchor fear in my mind that when I leave for the day, my property will be stolen. Okay? And that's what they do. They get around you and say things that for you to hear. It's called the direct conversation method. Research it at Google and cross-reference it to gang stalking. So on this 2006 email, it says it right here. Last week, as I was compiling information on one of these computers at the library, where I am sending you this email, okay, where I'm sending you my emails, all of a sudden the green light appeared on the A drive, and the next thing I know, the disk file was no longer accessible. Okay, now these computers I am working on are on a network, okay? I.e., the day before, when I was sending an email, two white males, after I sat down, were loudly discussing. That's the direct conversation method. Okay? Loudly discussing, because they want you to hear it. That's why they're getting on the sidewalk and saying gang stalking to get my attention. Okay? And then they'll say, why don't you come and steal our stuff? So it says, two white males, after I sat down, were loudly discussing, because they wanted me to hear it, how all of a sudden data can just disappear. Later, one of them approached a library staff member as I was walking by, and I distinctly heard him say, don't worry, we'll get her. And then the next day, when I come to the library, all of the information on my disk drive was no longer accessible. Okay? So basically what they did was the day before they anchored that it was happening to them. To anchor see, what they do is anchor fear that something's going to happen to you, your property, or even your work online. Okay? Now it says it right here. After I sat down, they were loudly discussing how all of a sudden data can just disappear. Okay? And then the next day it says it right here. Where I am sending you my emails, all of a sudden the green light appeared on my A drive, and the next thing I knew, the disk file was no longer accessible. Okay? Okay? Now, and then he went on to say, as I was walking out of there, one of them approached a library staff member, and I distinctly heard him say, don't worry, we'll get her. And this was in a few days before the San Diego police approached me at my hiking area and coerced me to go back to Michigan, where I was tortured, sexually exploited, yes, robbed like you would not believe, and the individuals in Michigan engaged in huge insurance fraud. Okay, and I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Elsie Williams. So I just showed to you right there that I was literally describing the direct conversation method, loudly discussing how all of a sudden data can just disappear. Okay? Yes. And that happened the day before. See, it says it right there. The day before, when I was sending an email, two white males, after I sat down, were loudly discussing how all of a sudden data can just disappear. And then the next day when I came in to use the same computers, all of the data disappeared off of the 1.4 MF floppy drive. Because this was back in 2006 when people were still using those 1.4 hard floppy disk and putting them in the computer. This was before USB drives. And so basically what they were doing was anchoring the idea in my head that something was going to happen, and then they did it. They're doing the same thing to me here today. One of them will walk up to me like they did this a couple weeks ago. One of them walked up to me and said, you got a flat tire in the back concerning my bike? And then within 3 days, my back tire was flat. Yeah, at Ralph's. And the threat was made, well, the the statement was made right across the street from our house. Yes, and this is what they do. They basically bring it to your attention about something, and then they do it. And that's why they say on the sidewalk, gang stalker, why don't you come and steal our stuff? To get my attention. So, my name is Leslie Williams. This proves to you that I was already describing I was being stalked in San Diego in 2006. It literally says it right here. This is in another 2006 email, okay? Stalking across state lines is a federal offense. That's when back then I was just, because I knew I was being stalked, but because in Michigan they were harassing me in certain ways, and so when I came to California and was being harassed in the same ways, that made me believe that the individuals from Michigan just stalked me to California, okay? And the reason why I started breaking it down right towards the end of the month of October was that it possibly wasn't the individuals from Michigan that had me stalked to California, was because at the same library when I was checking out materials, because I signed up for a library card, and it was checking out some material, some people that had gaslighted me in the library on the same day were in the line checking out materials concerning the line I was in to check out materials, and I noticed that when they were checking out materials, they were using California IDs. So that told me that these people weren't from Michigan, okay? And it literally states it right here. Verbal cues and showing up at my school in Michigan. And the same methods are being utilized towards me here that were utilized towards me, well, the same type of methods. See, what they do is sensitize targets to word, phrases, sounds, and even physical gestures. But the syndicate that is responsible for this, there's multiple syndicates operating on the same method and template in every state in the United States. Okay, it's called gang stalking. And so the verbal cues are the direct conversation method, sensitization tactics. So I literally show it in a 2006 email showing what I was putting up with in Michigan at my and how they were doing it even at my school, verbal cues and showing up at my school. And since I came out here in 2006 and they were engaging in the same type of physical gestures and the same type of verbal cues in reference to what they had me sensitized to back then, I thought it was people that stalked me from Michigan to California. But then when I started seeing that the individuals who were gaslighting me doing this in the Point Loma Library in 2006, when I seen them doing it to me, and then I'd spend a couple hours there, and then I'd get up to go check out a book or a movie, while I was in line, some of the people they had used during the day inside the library were also in line. And when they walked up to the counter to check out their material, I noticed they were using California IDs. And so it was within 5 to 6 days after I started noticing that is when the San Diego police came and evicted me from my hiking area. Okay? They developed this, what is known as a street theater in organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions. And street theaters are designed to coerce you into anything that they want. It's called framing the situation to frame the result. Okay, and let me see if I can find the email. Now look right here. This one is a email that was sent on October 20th, 2006 at 2:21 p.m. I won't come back to Michigan just to make a report. Nimitz and Evergreen Road. I don't trust the San Diego police. Stalking across state lines is a federal offense. Nimitz and Evergreen Road is where I was camping at. Don't trust the San Diego police. So cyber surveillance is a method of gang stalking. It's all over the internet. So what the San Diego police did was that they just scrutinized my emails in order to get an idea about where I was hiking at, and to get what they already knew, and to get into my mind in reference to what my thoughts were. Don't trust the San Diego police, because they were riding by me a lot in 2006, so I kind of deduced that they weren't trustworthy. And then what happened to me in Michigan already told me that the police couldn't be trusted. So what they did was they came to my hiking area to gain my trust that the stalking had ended. Okay, but they also knew that I thought that the individuals from Michigan, okay, had stalked me to California because of this statement. So they came to my hiking area and developed a scheme to make me think that the stalking had ended, while influencing me to go back to Michigan, while threatening me that if I was caught camping anywhere in San Diego, I'd be given a ticket and maybe jailed. Yes, and all of this was being done while I got a migraine. Okay, as they approached me. Now, if you go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know, it's a manifesto of a manager of gang stalking crews. in this manifesto, if you can't find it, it's copied and pasted in its entirety in some of my blogs. It flat out states that they got the technology that can bring on an artificial headache. Just go to it and you'll see it literally flat out states it. Now, I got a migraine, and when I got a migraine, they come to my hiking area, okay, after I'm being worn out and worn down and stalked and frightened and fearful every single day while I was out here between 1 and 38 days. All of a sudden, I come down with a migraine, and on the morning after the migraine developed is when they came to my hiking area and engaged in behavior to make me believe that the stalking had ended and that I could go back to Michigan. Because they made me believe that the stalking had ended by something that they did. What was transmitted over their radio, and the radio of the waist of the San Diego police officer who was talking to me, what was being transmitted over their radio as I was talking to her. I'll tell you what. You know what was transmitted over her radio as I was talking to her for me to hear? Don't worry, the stalkers are gone. Don't worry, the stalkers are gone. It's okay. You know, they've been taken care of. Literally, what was transmitted over her radio for me to hear. I flat out wide open heard it. Okay, and I wasn't being. I'll put it to you this way. Back then, I thought that they were getting outside of my tent and repeating certain words and phrases. Yes, because I didn't know about some of the methods and tactics that are connected to these expeditions. Because they want to make you feel stalked everywhere you go. That's why they're getting on the sidewalk and saying gang stalker, and then they'll say, why don't you come and steal her stuff? Okay? Now, as a result of me not hearing it the night before or that morning, okay, I noticed it because I didn't hear anything. Then when the San Diego police arrive on the scene, they get me to they gain my trust by literally transmitting over their radio for me to hear, don't worry, the stalkers are gone, we have dealt with the matter. Yeah, while they're enticing me to go back to Michigan, while they're threatening me that if I'm caught hiking anywhere, while telling me to move, that I'll be arrested or at least given a huge ticket that's got a huge fine attached to it, while I got a migraine. And this is the area they came to, which was listed right inside of the email. Cyber surveillance is a method of gang stalking. So they basically just got into my mind, figured out a way to gain my trust, okay, and developed a scheme, a street theater, in order to make me believe that the thing had ended and that it would be okay for me to go back to Michigan. They even gave me a ride to a place where then the San Diego Homeless Rescue Mission picked me up and took me straight to Greyhound. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what they do. They seen that I was already putting in these emails mentioning Point Loma Library staff. Okay? Now everything else in these emails flat out show that I was being gang stalked at Point Loma Library, and you just heard it happening at the North University San Diego Public Library. Also, you're going to eventually be able to see a video of the North University San Diego Public Library branch manager flat out wide open saying gang stalking as I walked by him on March 6th,